Hello, my lovely Marshall blenders. How are you doing? My name is Marshall's Blend Hair and Fragrance, and I love talking to people. Don't sweat other people's fever. In Spanish, no sudes calentura ajena. And that is a lesson that my grandmother gave to my mother, who passed it down to me, and I'm sure my grandmother got it from her mom. The idea behind that is that you cannot try to solve everybody's problem. You cannot, and it's not healthy to do that. There has to be a place or a way that you understand that. So, for example, fevers. How do people get fevers? Infections, for the most part, right? Infections. Something's going wrong in the body. And sometimes a person gets a fever because they decided to go play in the rain. Sometimes a person gets a fever due to a venereal situation. Sometimes a person gets a fever because they chose to do uh, something that was not the best thing to do. And sometimes it just happens, right? Sometimes you're just in a situation. And so, whatever the reason for the person having the fever, that person has it. Are you physically able to sweat their fever to make them feel better? The answer is no. So when people try to come to you with a problem, don't try to sweat the fever. Now, that doesn't mean you don't look to help them. That doesn't mean you don't look to support them. That doesn't mean you don't look to encourage them. What it does mean is you do not put on their problems and their pressures and their stresses and put it on you. Some people say, oh, but that's love. And that's, no, that's actually sometimes abuse. That is also sometimes being taken for granted. I'll explain that. I'll explain to you what I mean. So let's say that a person has a job. It doesn't pay a lot, but they have a job. And they do what they have to do to pay their bills. And they also like to splurge on other things. And because they've chosen to splurge on other things, they don't have a savings. So they don't have a savings. And they tend to come to you to sweat their fever for them. Can you give me money? Can you pay this bill for me? Can you pay that bill for me? I say this because I used to be a person that used to look for other people to sweat my fevers, okay? Can you please do this and do that? And some people think, oh, well, I love you. So because I love you, I will do that. Or because I love you, I don't want you to have this fever. So let me sweat it for you. What happens is this: the person then starts to create situations, which is what happened already, right? Because they should have been saving and not and foregoing certain joys. That's another conversation, but that's what they should be doing. That's what they need to do. What happens afterwards? Now this person starts to believe that you are supposed to sweat their fever for them. So they may have been appreciative the first time. Guess what? The second time, now they know they can count on you. The third time, they're expecting you to do it. The fourth time, you now feel that you have to do it. They don't even have to tell you. They can just allude to it. They can just allude to it. Oh man, I really wanted to go here, but I have to pay this and I won't be able to go. Oh, don't worry about it. I got it for you. Stop. Stop. At work, someone's like, "Gee, goodness, I'm so swamped. I have all of these files to do, and oh, you know what? Give me some of them, and I'll help you with it." Stop. You have to stop. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be a team player. That doesn't mean you can't look out for people. That doesn't mean you can't support people. That doesn't mean that you can't give out loans and you can't pay things for people. You can do all of that. All of that is doable. Wonderful, beautiful. But when a person expects you to sweat their fever for them, you must put a stop to it. You must put a stop to it because you cannot sweat another person's fever. And now, if they're expecting you to sweat their fever for them, guess what? You have to now stand outside of yourself and say, what happens if I say no? What happens if I say no? I'm gonna tell you what happens if you say no. If you say no, you will not be sweating another person's fever. You will have more time and energy and resources to take care of your own thing. So if you're at work, you'll be able to do your work with less stress and no fever from that person. If it's in your life, guess what? Your bank account is going to have a little bit more money and you're going to have a little less stress. So don't sweat other people's fevers. And that applies to anyone, any human relationship. Again, any human relationship, your siblings, your parents, your children, your grandchildren. Don't sweat their fever. Be supportive, be encouraging. But if they are expecting you to sweat their fever, you must say no. You must say no because that is not love. That is not love. Okay? Just a thought. Ciao.